Hello, welcome to ASL Top Plays Week 9 with me, TCP, and this week, I have to say, I had a good time with plays because, I don't know, I'll leave it for later in the video when I show myself doing amazing. Anyways, enough gloating aside. First off, we have Hutch versus White Ferret. So the way this episode is going to be structured, I have a first half for sets, second half for plays. So right now, Hutch is in on his Latias. It's pretty bulky. It takes the serve very easily, and he starts calming mind up. So it's been proven so far that Ferret's team doesn't have very great physical wall breakers, so he usually relies on special wall breakers. So Hutch is taking advantage of the fact that Ferret's main way of breaking through Latias would be something like his I guess it would be a preferred set of Scarf Sylveon. So Hutch decided to take advantage of it and use the Roselli Berry Calm Mindset. Take advantage of the Hyper Voices that would be coming from Sylveon, so he can get bulky enough so that Hyper Voices can't 2-hit KO him, and he can set up him and out damage him with the recover. So now Ferret's in a really bad spot because Psyshock pretty much kills anything that comes in. He comes Celesteela to maybe take a hit, but Hutch is packing the T-Bolt for the Celesteela. In comes Haxorus. If it's Scarf, it can do something, but it's not Scarf, so it dies. Then comes Torkoal. Torkoal has amazing defense, so it can take a Psyshock. He misses a Toxic, which is unfortunate. Hutch goes for the T-Bolt, I guess just in case he gets the Para. There isn't much of a difference. He goes for the Psyshock to kill everything. And now everything, the Toxic isn't doing damage fast enough. And Psyshock literally beats everything else. So Hutch literally wins with one Mon setting up on like turn 3. Which is really nice that he's able to abuse Ferret so thoroughly. I have to dock him a little bit of points because it's already been proven that Ferret is very weak to this kind of method of losing, considering how he lost last time to Brett, who brought Calm Mind Mega Gardevoir. But it's still a nice set that 6-0'd Ferret, so top play material right there. Moving on, we have Shadow versus Brad. Brad, after last week, was looking very rusty, but this week he brought this Bronzong set, which I looked at a few of Shadow's Mons. I might be fighting him soon or something, and Trick Room Bronzong under Trick Room kills literally everything. So once the Trick Room is up, all Dredagon can really do is, he revealed the set earlier, he can Iron Head and he can Dragon Tail. He probably should be Dragon Tailing here, but getting in Reuniclus or Zapdos isn't really a big favorable result for him. So Dredagon goes down. Everything that comes in will die to this Bronzong. He probably should have Gyro Balled there because it answered him doubling into Lycanroc off some weird play. But anyways, Brad's Bronzong getting 4 kills this week, and this Bronzong set is really nice because against an offensive team like Shadow, speed control is really nice. So because Shadow can't really do anything in Trick Room, Trick Room Bronzong is able to get almost 4 kills simply off of knowing Trick Room, which is really nice for Brad. Really nice to see him thinking again, actually bringing correct sets that can actually win instead of just losing to Aura Sphere Raikou. Enough shade aside. I'm going to be moving on to the third replay, which is TJ versus Brett. I believe this battle was played early because TJ had like some exams or something. But first off, Kyurem is in. He goes for an Ice Beam. Nothing much really switches into it except for Jirachi. And he decides to stay in and go for the Iron Head. From my understanding, I don't know the set, but I would assume that this is a Roselli Berry Curum, considering it hasn't shown leftovers or a Z move. I might be wrong there, but it does explain him staying in and having Iron Head, which highly suggests that he was using Curum to bait in Mega Gardevoir in order to kill it. And it worked out really nicely considering that Brett didn't expect that and decided to go for a Wish for against a what he would presume to be a 100% switch away from that Mega Gardevoir. But TJ plays it smart. He switches out Kyurem anytime that this Jirachi comes in, because Jirachi is the one thing left on this team that can deal with Kyurem. So anytime Kyurem comes on anything except for Jirachi, it can essentially either chip down the Jirachi or get a kill. I believe later on he goes into it. Yeah, here against the Muck. Now Muck has a chance to beat it, but it doesn't work out for him because he doesn't have the Shadow Sneak, which is something that comes up a lot against in TJ games, the lack of Shadow Sneaks. But he also is carrying the Roost, so that means that he can not only can he threaten to kill every time, he can also threaten to bring his Kyurem back up to a threatening position every time he comes in on something that isn't this Jirachi. And once this Jirachi gets chipped, so I believe he gets into Kyurem now. Now that Kyurem is, it kills pretty much anything. It getting free Earth Power here, which is a safe move. In comes Gliscor. As soon as Gliscor dies, he can spam Earth Power a lot more. He can also roost freely on Gliscor because it can't do too much with Earthquake. And if he had Toxic on Gliscor, he can't even click Toxic because he's already poisoned from Poison Jab. So it's just a matter of time before Earth Power plus Ice Beam beats everything. And once Jirachi goes down, which it looks like it will be one of the last members to go down, Kyurem just wins. But Kyurem put in so much work this game that I just wanted to commend TJ for sneaking in a nice set that some people might have overlooked this week. Moving on, we have Milan versus Dave, one of the hype matches of this week. The number 3 versus number 4 seed so far. Here we have a Specs Greninja, I believe, surfing on this Aromatisse. And on the Wish, so there's a few things that can happen here. Dave can either sack this Aromatisse, he can either protect to get one more turn with the Aromatisse, maybe switch it out on later because he knows that it's Specs based on the damage. So he knows he can switch in Rotom or Gourgeist in on this Greninja. So that's one of those two options are going to happen. So Milan makes a really nice mid-ground play. Instead of staying in, he decides to go into... Anyways, so Diancie comes in instead of Greninja going for Surf. And he predicted the Protect, which was the most likely play, considering that's usually what happens after a Wish. So Dave decides to... Or, not Dave. Milan decides to Calm Mind this turn, predicting something like a Wish or a Switch. And this Calm Mind lets Milan get one free kill. Or, now that he stayed in, it lets Milan get 2 free kills. So, Dave is forced to sack the Aromatisse. In comes Rotom, which can normally check Diancie by one-shotting it with a Hydro Pump. But because of the Calm Mind, it can't deal with Diancie. So that's 2 important members of Dave's team just gone. And that really is really nice for Dave because... I mean, not Dave. For Milan, because Milan and Dave... the way their teams are built, getting ahead is very important, especially mon counters wise, because this game will likely be a game of sacks, and just being 2 mons ahead really helps the end game scenario, and it lets Milan pretty much clean up this game pretty handily. moving on, we have me versus Excellent Name. And I switch in Florges on this Mega Altaria because it's pretty safe switching. And I just go for a Moonblast, and it does 56%. So here is a big turn. Of course it is because it's on top plays. Just knowing how EN is, it's likely that he can do something like a knockoff predicting an obvious switch, or just getting like a T-spike up, which is something that I'm expecting. So I just end up going for the aggressive Moonblast again, getting rid of the Drapion, which is probably an answer to, or was probably an answer to Mega Latios, and just really getting rid of something that can take a Moonblast is really nice because nothing on EN's team resists in Moonblast. So, back to the final replay of the day. It's me versus EN. I think that this was probably one of my best battles ever, so of course I'm going to show it off twice, right? Anyways, so I T-Bolt, kill the Thunderous, in comes Mega Altaria, I switch into my Milotic on the Fire Blast, and then I throw off a Toxic and miss. Unfortunate, man. But I know now that I'm faster than this Altaria. The little bit of speed I put into Milotic seems to be paying off a little bit. And assuming... So, I assumed that he assumed that I was going to recover, because recover is just a pretty simple play. It's not the most safe play, but it's a pretty simple play for me to make there, just so that my Milotic doesn't die. Considering I can't really touch Mega Altaria, and if he stays in, then I can't really do much, except recover. So, I decide to predict him to go into Raikou, which is a pretty free switch for him, and I land the Toxic on this Raikou, which is really important considering that he was saving this thing in the back because it's probably his win con, which it shows to be confirmed his win con as it's Calm Mind Raikou. And now that it's Toxic, it doesn't have options like Reflect or Aromatherapy, so that Toxic isn't going away unless he has Rest, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have room for Rest. So, yeah, I'm able to finish off his win con with a ballsy Toxic play, and that really just wraps this thing up for me. Against a really tough opponent, an Excellent Name. So, yeah, that's all. There's gonna be like a million cuts because I've been interrupted so many times. This is gonna be so late. But this was a really nice week for top plays. I might be coming off a little bit too snarky by showing myself playing twice, but sometimes you gotta know when to be humble, and you have to know when to just take the win and be happy with yourself. And I am definitely happy with myself after this week. So that's all from Top Plays from me. TCP. Goodbye.